Hey there, Regina Ainley here, and it is time for the AI Spotlight. I didn't put my little screen up there, so you get to see me jamming to my little rock music there for the intro. And this week we have been talking about your ideal client. Now, you may think, we cover ideal client like ad nauseum. It's like everybody's always talking about it. Here's why. There's only a very small percentage of business owners who actually really know who their ideal client is. They think they know who it is. And most of us have a pretty good idea, but we're not 100%. And what do I mean by that? It's like we know, hey, I want to work with women 45 and older who are maybe you're a nutritionist and they're 45 and older and they're just hitting perimenopause, or they're becoming menopausal and they're having issues with hormones. Those are my ideal clients. Great. That's not your ideal client profile though. That's a good start. So that tells me that, okay, so you know where you're starting, you know what your core genius is, you know who you can help, but what is it about that person? So when we think about that ideal client, it's not just about who they are, it's about how they are. What are those things that keep them up at night? What are those pain points? What are the things that they're calling their friends in the middle of the night going, oh my God, I can't sleep, that kind of thing, if you're that audience of the 45 and older, menopausal, perimenopausal, right? So what is it that they're asking? Those are the pieces of the ideal client that you really want to nail down. It's not just about the demographics. It's the physiographics, the psychographics. There's a whole bunch more involved with it. So I'm going to bounce into ChatGPT here. And I made a little prompt to help you uncover a little bit more. Now, on Friday, I'm going to drop in the group a larger prompt. It's more comprehensive, but this will get you started. And why am I doing it this way? Why don't you just use the big prompt? Here's the thing. You need to do a little legwork first, and you really need to think it through. So I'm going to give you the quick and dirty version of it here. You can run with it and get started, and then that actually might help you with input tomorrow when I drop the Friday freebie, and you're like, okay, now I know exactly what I'm putting in there. I'm going to actually run the comprehensive prompt and go further from there. So let me grab this prompt here. I'm going to copy it out of my document here. Copy. I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to turn on a temporary chat because it doesn't need to know this stuff for me. And I'm going to paste it. I am entering your title. Who helps? Who? With what problem? Based on this, help me build a detailed ideal client profile that includes their age range and lifestyle, their biggest struggles and pain points, what they've already tried that hasn't worked. That is a key line right there. Because when you think about who are you trying to attract and how are you attracting them? You're attracting them with your marketing, with your blogs, with your posts. Maybe you're going out to networking events and you're talking to people. You need to know what to say to attract that right person. If you don't know what their problem is, if you don't know what their struggle is in their words, then you are not going to connect with them. You might be standing in front of the exact ideal client that you would work perfect with, but they aren't connecting with you. Why? Because you're not using the words that they're using. That's where that line comes in. What have they already tried? What do they really want to feel or achieve? The words and phrases they use when they talk about their problem, where they spend time online, and what would make them say yes to working with someone like me. So I'm going to use that example that I just gave you. So I am a functional nutritionist who helps perimenopausal and menopausal women with navigating their hormonal journey at this time in their life. So this one is pretty basic. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. So functional nutritionist who helps perimenopausal and menopausal women with navigating their hormonal journey during this time in their lives. I didn't give it a whole heck of a lot of information, but check this out. 40 to 58. That's pretty much that's the right age range for that, right? Early to late menopausal, menopause or early postmenopause. Life stage, busy professional, business owner or executive, healthcare, education, corporate, service industry, often caring for aging parents while supporting teenagers or young adult children, married, divorced, or single, usually earns middle to upper middle income and has discretionary spending for health. They're typically responsible women who have spent years taking care of everyone else before themselves. Lifestyle, she is constantly juggling responsibilities. This is nailing this profile right here, by the way. And all of this stuff that's here is content gold, right? She works full-time or runs a business, values healthy living, buys organic food when possible, exercises, listens to health podcasts, reads nutritional labels, wants natural solutions before medication, may already take supplements. She considers herself pretty healthy, which makes her symptoms even more frustrating. This is actually narrowing down a niche as well. However, it's still pretty broad because we have this here, which is a pretty broad area. I'm okay with that though. But here, busy professional, business owner, healthcare, all of this stuff, you could actually say, okay, it's that demographic who is caring for aging parents while supporting teenagers. There's a narrower niche, right? So your ideal client when you're doing this exercise might help you narrow down your niche as well. You can post out to all of these people. However, it might come across a little bit more general. So this is just getting your avatar, so this ideal client avatar, so that you can start working with them. Biggest struggles and pain point. Look at this. Physical, weight gain around the middle, belly fat that won't budge, low energy, constant fatigue. I'm not going to read all of these. Joint pain, digestive, emotional. Emotional is where you make your money. Emotional in your content is where people stop and go, that is me. I need to read this. That is me. She knows exactly how to help me. I need to talk to this person. I need to attend her class. I need to call her up, whatever it is, whatever your call to action is. I don't recognize myself anymore. I'm doing everything right, but nothing works. I feel invisible. I don't feel attractive. These are content gold for attracting those people. Now, see how this is way past the demographics? Daily frustrations. She struggles to get through the workday without crashing. There's a great line for the first part of a post. Do you struggle to get through the workday without crashing at 3 p.m.? If you put that as the first line in a post, guess what? If that's that person, you just got their attention. They are reading your post and engaging. That's what this is all about. Focus during meetings. Do you ever find yourself zoning out and looking out the window and looking at the clouds and not paying attention to anything anybody's saying at a meeting, even though you were actually interested in what was going on in the meeting, but you just couldn't focus? Again, this is how you get attention. And those people who don't know you yet start stopping on your posts and it hits home for them. And so now they engage. That's what this is all about. What she's already tried. Content gold right here. Most have already invested time and money. They tried keto, like low carb diets, intermittent fasting, Weight Watchers, HIIT workouts, more exercise, hormone replacements, all this stuff. Doctors tell them your labs are normal or it's just aging. Again, content gold in here. Why those things didn't work. She believes no one looked at the whole picture. Every provider treated one symptom. You can use all that. What she really wants. She doesn't actually want to lose 20 pounds. Key note right there. What does your ideal client actually want? What you think they want is likely not what they want. They want to wake up energized. They want to sleep through the night, feel mentally sharp, feel like herself again, have stable moods. It's not about losing weight. Yeah, losing weight's probably there. Yeah, I'd love to lose a few pounds, but I want this more, right? So that's why this prompt for your ideal client will actually help you get more centered on who your ideal client really is. Deep emotional desires. She wants to feel in control, heard, understood, supported, beautiful, calm, strong. Words she uses: I feel off. Something just isn't right. I don't feel like myself. My metabolism is broken. You can use all of this in your content. I'm snapping at everyone. If you're perimenopausal or menopausal or postmenopausal, that one might resonate with you. What keeps her up at night? Will I ever lose this weight? Is it just aging? Will I ever sleep again? Is my marriage suffering? What will I feel like in 10 years from now if I feel like this now? What she believes: food matters, lifestyle matters, stress affects health. She knows all this stuff. She's not starting from scratch. In this particular case, for this ideal client, this is a perfect ideal client avatar. Where does she spend her time online? Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, podcasts. Might listen to Mel Robbins, Mark Heyman, Stacy Sims. This is great information. What she's Googling: why am I gaining weight during menopause? Functional medicine during menopause, menopause nutrition, Facebook groups. She's joining groups like this. If you're a functional nutritionist, chances are pretty good you have a group like that and you want more people in it. So you can use this to actually drive more people to your group. So I'm using this example of the functional nutritionist, but think about how this is going to work for your ideal client. Objections before hiring you. Will this actually work for me? You know, everything else I've done so far has failed. Why is working with you going to make this work? I've already spent thousands of dollars on this, and I'm just getting tired of throwing money out the window. Is this just another diet? Will I have to give up everything I enjoy? Do I have time? Is it worth the investment? How long before I feel better? Again, these are all things now that you want to put into your marketing to say why your program is different. So again, functional nutritionist. If a functional nutritionist is there, and I actually have a functional nutritionist who is a client of mine, and that's what we do. We create content around this kind of information to say, okay, what is it that actually matters to them? Not what do I, as the functional nutritionist, want to tell them. Yes, I have a lot of knowledge. I would love to spew all of this knowledge on them because I know it's important stuff. But you know what? They don't want to be you. They don't want to be a functional nutritionist. They just want to feel better. So you're hitting them on their ground, right? So you need to reach them on their terms. And then all of these objections that you might hear, these are the things that you want to be prepared for when they're coming to you and saying, well, why you? What makes your program different? What makes your offer different? You know, I'm using the functional nutritionist here, but if you're a business consultant, maybe you're a social media manager and you're talking to other people who want to offset their social media marketing to a social media manager, but they've been burned by VAs before. And they haven't found a good VA yet that's able to keep up with them. You're going to have objections. Why should they hire you? This prompt right here gives you that information to look out for. When she says yes, she believes you understand her. She gets exactly what I'm going through. She immediately thinks that. You educate instead of overwhelm. She wants someone who can explain what's happening. So this is all built into now your program. So you can see it's your ideal client, but it's helping you define what your program is going to look like. Buying triggers. There is so much here. Buying triggers. She steps on a scale, sees the highest weight she's ever been. I need help, right? Another sleepless night, feeling defeated. When am I going to find somebody to help me get through this, right? So these are the triggers that will help her by, again, content gold. Because you can use something like, are you getting tired of stepping on the scale and just seeing it going up, up, and up? And it doesn't seem like there's any real reason why it should be going up. In this particular case, could be hormones, right? So your ideal client is a health conscious woman midlife. It gives you a little summary. So we could take this one step further and say, please create a narrative for my ideal client as noted above. Give her a name and yeah, we'll just stop it right there. Give her a name. And we're going to write a narrative based on that person. This is the person that you're talking to. When you create your content, when you create your programs, when you create your offers, when you create everything that you do, this is the person that you're talking to. That is a clear ideal client, the ideal client avatar, right? So Sarah is 47 years old, successful, dependable, the person everyone counts on. She has a demanding career, a busy family life, and a calendar that's always full. Whether she's leading meetings at work or helping her teenage daughter prepare for college, checking in on her aging adults, or trying to squeeze in a workout before dinner, she's constantly taking care of everyone else. From the outside, she looks like she has it all together, but lately she feels like she's slowly losing herself. This goes in, look at this. It goes into a whole list of things about this ideal client. This is where the magic of this one little prompt that I'm going to put underneath here. Who are you? That's what that prompt provided for us. So, do you really know who your ideal client is? If you aren't that clear on your ideal client, I challenge you to run this prompt and see what it gives you for your ideal client. And then let me know if it helps you out. That's what I've got for you for the AI Spotlight this week. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.